say anything politically incorrect, correct?
I don't know.
Yes, and that was just on.
You ready? All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to our Planning Commission meeting for November. The chair recognizes the quorum. So if you would, please stand and we'll say pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next on our agenda is approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? If you have, I will call for a motion.
Makes a motion, we approve the October 12th minutes.
Mr. Hale makes a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain. I was not
Melanie
at the last meeting.
Motion carries. Approval of agenda. Adjustment to our agenda on item D and E. They should be flipped in the petition to rezone. The Z 2206 will be heard before the MIP 2204. It was just a typo on our agenda. So with those changes, I'll call for approval of agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as changed.
So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. If you want to speak tonight, you must sign up. And the table over here, and they're still over there for the other ones, but on our first one, we've got pulled up. So, representing Mr. Webster. Public hearing for a vacate and replat P 2208. Merle and Claudia Webster is requesting a vacate lots 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34 in Falcon Crest and replat them into one lot. The property is located at 3211 Falcon Crest Drive in Jefferson Township in the zone rural residential. Mr. Webster, would you like to come forward, please?
So
Your address, please.
it's Merle Dean Webster, I go by Dean. So the paperwork that's represented here all looks correct, except we talked about Lot 31. Lot 31 doesn't exist. Lot 30, it should be read Lot 30.
Good.
So I don't know whether that makes a difference at this point or not, or if we can have that corrected or make note that that's the case. The dimensions are the same. He's just got looks like a typographical error there.
On your plat, too? Or
You know what, I can't remember. See,
It's got it correctly. It just says former lot 30, former lot 31, and then
Okay.
it says lot 31 replat.
Okay. So lots 30 has been replatted once before, is that what?
yeah, that's what's happened. So there was a lot 29 that was used a portion of lot 30, and then 31 then became 30.
Okay,
So that's the only thing I see here that's a little bit misleading. So it's not 5 lots we're putting together, it's just 4. So
Okay.
it's 30, 32, 33, and 34R. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
hang on for a second, please. So this just makes one building lot then? You only have
Excuse me?
one building lot?
Yeah, that makes one huge lot, yeah.
we got lot 34R, 33, 32, and 31.
30.
30. So that one's wrong. Okay, okay. This said formerly 31, so. Okay. Trying to get it straight.
Let me get it recorded, right?
Yeah, got to be recorded, right? What are you going to call the new lot?
It's going to be called, he's got it listed here as 33R.
33R, okay. Any questions for Mr. Webster? No? Thanks, Mr. Webster.
Thank you.
Webster, would you like to speak, or you good? Mr. Span, would you like to speak? Would you like to speak? Nope? Okay. There's no other people signed up for this petition, so we will ask Ms. Parker to give us her recommendation.
Good evening. I won't reread my staff report to you, just to reiterate that we've seen many of these vacate and replats in this particular subdivision, so this is not uncommon, and they've provided the correct documentation on the plat. Therefore, staff recommends approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This closes our public portion of the hearing. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the vacate replat of RP-22-08.
Do we have?
Second?
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Becker. Becker. All right, we'll go to our next one, item B, public hearing for a minor plat, a petition of MIP, excuse me, 2207. Robert Fincham, on the behalf of Oakso Becker, is requesting a 6-lot minor plat of 39.67 acres located adjacent to 9230 North Kitchen Road. The property is located in Madison Township and is zone Ag. Mr. Fincham?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
he's
me.
already there, sorry. State your name and your address for us, please.
Robert Fincham, 851 North Madison Avenue, Greenwood, Indiana, 46142. Mr. President, members of the board, and the Chancellor, members of the CEC and guests, my name is Robert Fincham again. I'm the petitioner for Oakso Becker, the owner of the property. A few personal remarks. I might start with the Plan Commission application is being submitted to request the division of a mother parcel into 6 minor plats. 5 of these to be 2-acre parcels each, a total of 10 acres, and 1 to be 29.67 acres remaining. The mother parcel is 39.67 acres in total. The land use, each parcel will be used as residential properties, which will enhance the community appeal as to not adversely affect the surrounding environment. The reason for the division process as submitted is to create a positive influence on Kitchen Road for future beautiful homes to be built in this area. I believe many consumers wanting to move to the Mooresville area, especially this area, are interested in more land space in order to grow gardens and possibly have a secondary barn building, which would enhance the area's current agricultural environment. As these properties grow into the future, it is possible that sewer and water services may become available with the proper public utility company finding an interest in the area, as did the Rockies Express Pipeline, which laid a natural gas pipeline on the west side of the property in 2008. So those are my reasons for subdividing the property. And if there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions?
You're not gonna ask, is there gonna be all these lots gonna exist on an existing road?
All of them will be on Kitchen Road. Yes.
That's roughly, what, a quarter mile south of the turn?
I'm sorry?
About a quarter mile south of the jog in the road in Kitchen where
Yes.
Kitchen jogs across.
Mm-hmm.
Is this farm field now, all this?
Sorry.
It's all farm field right now?
Yes, it's considered AG. There is one property in the middle of this large property, almost 40 acres, and it is currently a residence, and it's been there about 8 or 10 years.
That's the cutout?
Yes.
Is there any type of utilities out there?
There are no utilities out there currently.
Currently, no utilities?
There's a gas pipeline, but I was understanding that it was considered a transitional gas line.
Yeah, you're talking about Rockies Express?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a large line, you can't tap
Yes.
into that, so.
Yep.
And there's no water in the area?
No water at this time. So I have to be, well, when we, each of these properties will obviously need to have perk tests done.
Yeah.
And,
Be approved.
and when they did the perk test on that property in the center, it was totally approved, so no problem.
So the smallest lot you're gonna have are gonna be 2 acres?
Pardon?
The smallest lot is 2 acres?
Smallest lot is 2 acres. Each of those are 2 acres. And then the big lot is between 28 and 30. No problem with the access to the big lot in the back because that 50-foot wide access strip from Kitchen Road to the property itself is part of that actual property.
Yeah, it's part of, it's
Yep.
lot 6. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Becker, would you like to speak? Ms. Becker, would you like to speak? I said, would you like to speak? No, you're good? Okay, you signed up. I wanted to make sure that you had the chance to speak. Laura's got to come up next. Ms. Parker, would you like to give your report before we go to interested?
The requirements for a minor plat cannot exceed 6 lots. This is 6 lots, and it does meet the requirements spelled out in the Unified Development Ordinance, and can be approved as submitted, and staff recommends approval. It does not need to be rezoned because everything is 2 acres or larger, so that's why it'll retain its ag zoning.
That fits in the ag zoning? Okay. Any other questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Going to opposition. Terry Moore, would you like to speak? We need you to state your name and your address for us, please.
Terry Moore, I live on 8205 North Kitchen Road. I was here last month on the property on the opposite side of the road, about all the drainage, and we were talking about the septic systems and stuff that was on that. And that's still on go with this too. And the subject on this property here is where most of the drainage water comes out on me, because I even took pictures today. If you look at the layout, you can see this dark stream here, that's where it's all been cut away, that there's no crops on. And I can show you a picture of what that looks like.
So you live south of Watson?
I live on further down on Kitchen.
Oh, further down on
Going
Kitchen.
towards Centenary.
Oh, okay.
Now, you can see on this picture here where the crops cut away. That's where the drainage all comes out on that, because I know Mr. Smith would put all that in.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on my GIS myself.
And I
so.
got, you can see where one of the drainage pipes, how much water comes through there. That's on the opposite side of the road. And then further down, that's where it comes back across the kitchen, comes behind a bunch of houses, and all that stuff from all them fields that comes out and lands in. You can see where they've been building it up with blocks and bricks and stuff, trying to keep that
Oh,
water from getting out in here. My property is just on the other side over here.
We need you to go back to the mic so it's recorded.
I was gonna show you one other picture. This is, they took that out, there used to be one big one, and the county came in and took that out, put two smaller ones, and it all keeps backing up.
Need you to get on the mic if you would, please.
So anyway, it still had the same situation what we would have had on the other side too. And that was my most concern. If we start approving all this stuff on the other side of the road, then it might, Mr. Highway might come back and say, well, if you approve on one side of the road, what's the difference on the other side of the road? And that's my most big concern. So,
Any questions?
any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks
you.
for your time.
Thank you. Mike Edwards? We can make it a stipulation, they have to give me a, yeah, yeah.
I lived on Kitchen Road for 36, 38 years. And you can't not believe the more traffic we have on Kitchen Road. We can't hack anymore. There's no yellow lines. That S-turn that you was talking about has been hit many of times. I don't know, what the police report and the family lives there now would say. But we just cannot handle the traffic. The Kitchen Road is not wide enough. The speed limit, 45, is way too fast for Kitchen Road. When 144 has a speed limit of 144, or 45 miles an hour, how in the hell do you expect Kitchen Road have a speed limit on, and houses everywhere? You're just asking for people to get killed. And the people's moving out there, like you said, they just want to move out in the country. They don't care about the people lived out there for years and paid taxes. I don't think you guys really care about people pay taxes out there now. How you guys will just keep on doing that without upgrading the roads. I think you should, before you grant any more, you should upgrade the roads. That's all I can say.
Hang on for a second, Mr. Edwards. You got any questions for Mr. Edwards?
Do you agree with me? Upgrade the roads?
We have, that is not under our jurisdiction.
Yeah, but it's your discretion to add more houses. I know my kids used to play out on the roads, out there when we was chip and sealed. They used to sit on top of a tree limb and watch the traffic go by. Now you gotta be crazy to even get within 20. Oh, we had a car hit our tree and wrapped around it. They said that they had a passenger in the car, they would have been killed. It got that bad out there. And it's still, we still get wrecks out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew Mendenhall?
Good evening. My name's Andrew Mendenhall. I live on Kitchen Road down south of Centenary.
We
I was here,
need your address if you would, please.
yeah, 7630 North Kitchen Road.
Okay.
I was here last month as well with the crowd, kind of helping to slow down the development and loss of our agricultural space in the area. As I explained last month, we moved to this area to teach our children about agriculture. It's been an endearing experience for them to learn from the farmers in the community. The 4-H program in Morgan County, I think it's a big loss to support this development. I have a few comments and things to kind of reiterate what we said last month about it. There are some big concerns in that area, just drainage on those fields. It doesn't affect me as directly as it does some of the folks here in the room. It does eventually go downhill to where we're at, but there is in those fields a lot of drainage problems. We're not sure about the development and how this big pipeline that's going to go through there is supposed to be mitigated. Those are some big concerns. There's no utilities in the area, and I think it would be better for utilities to get out there before we encourage subdivisions. For this particular request, I understand, I'm learning just a little bit each time. It's pretty interesting actually coming to these meetings, that they can divide into 6 minor plots. So they have a strategy for, 5 2-acre plots, and then leaving this one as 30 acres. I would assume the next month, then they're gonna divide the 30 acres and keep working that down, so they have a bunch of smaller pieces.
They can't do that.
They can't do that, so
No,
they
once-
keep the,
Once they hit the 6
This
acres.
is a magic number.
okay, so it's 30 acres would stay, essentially. So
They'd have to
somebody
come back in and petition for a major subdivision, so that's totally different.
And they'd have to convert to
Yeah.
R1 or RR at that
They'd
point.
have to rezone, and then they'd have to come in and go through a major subdivision, so they'd do drainage, streets, lights. You have to have certain
Sewer.
utilities in place and things like
Like
that.
they tried to do last month, basically. They'd go to that
Yes.
Yeah,
step, right?
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. So fundamentally, I would agree that, bigger parcels of land, and yeah, I'm sure it's coming and things would be ideal to keep as far as the overall consistency of the area nice and things, that would be okay, right? Especially at 30 acres. I would love to see agriculture stay in the area if it's at all possible, I don't know if we can stop that. There are traffic concerns, as Mike mentioned. He's one of the, while he may come up here and get a little hot and bothered, he's actually one of the farmers in the area that has represented that personality and character to my children and taught them about the values that this type of community can offer. I think that's the biggest things, just to remember the drainage and things like that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. You mentioned the pipeline, what, are you talking about the gas pipeline that's already
Yeah, that
coming
Rocky
through there?
Mountain Pipeline, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
major.
Yeah, that's a big
thoroughfare.
transmission line that's
Got it.
come through there.
Already been through
10
there.
years, it's already in.
Yeah, I would expect they would have to have some sort of perimeter around that.
They've got a
though,
big
so-
easement for that, because it's a large pipeline.
Yeah, and like last month, it didn't seem like they were recognizing that they would have to work around that, so,
Yeah.
as all these other developments want to come in there, it seems like that's a thing that they need to
Yeah.
contend with, besides the drainage and issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm almost sure Rocky's got 100 foot.
Don Hurock.
15 side of it. Where's that at on here? I don't remember where it's at. I'd have to go back to there.
I wondered if I might hand out some of these to you, just so you can see what I'm talking about
Yeah,
as
you need
I'm
to
speaking.
state your name and your address for us, please, when you get up there.
It's 8215 North Kitchen Road. My name is Dawn Horock, Horock. I've been a resident out here for 25 years. I live down from this area, and I was here and spoke the last time. And I'm sorry, I need one of those copies. My concern is, now this is the third developer that's come and bought property out here that's farmland. Everybody's out to make a buck, while the rest of us that live there have to put up with whatever they bring in. And that, to me, is really discerning. I live on a 6-acre lot. Terry Moore lives up in front of me. He's got 6 acres. I don't know what, most people have quite a few acres. It's not just 2. To me, 2 is barely minimal. But they're selling, they want to sell whatever, and they just want to sell their property, build their houses, and move on to the next place to make money. But this is our home. And it does impact us on our roads, the children, the school buses. Again, we don't have water out there. We don't have sewer. What I'm bringing to you in this handout is, and it's going to be for the other one, the Scott, whatever, Jordan Scott lot too, because this is all one area. It's been one farm field. And if you look at this, the first one, it says 26.28 poorly drained soil, no basements, severe limitations for septic tank absorption. That's 26 acres. 36 acres, somewhat poorly drained, severe limitations as building sites. Drainage is needed, severe limitations for septic tank absorption. That is most of that property that was one lot before. Now it's divided into 2. And that really is concerning because these people are going to buy these houses and they're going to be building on clay. I don't know if they can get water out there or not, if they drill for water. But having a septic system that is not going to drain is going to be a problem. And Holloway didn't address it when they were doing it, trying to sell us all on the other side of the Kitchen Road, directly across from this. And I don't see a solution to it in their proposal, but it is going to be a huge factor. I mean, I get they're only putting, was it six lots?
Yeah, it's 6 lots.
And as far as Scott's Farm, the existing place that they're talking about, that's been there that's a new house. They tore the other one down. So that was an existing home for God knows how many years, probably 50 or 60. But they just built a new home on it. So that home that is there right now is in the same place, and it may have been built 10 years ago. But there was a home prior to that. So it's not like, oh, well, the soil perk test did just fine. That home has been there for, that piece of lot was there for probably 50 or 60 years. So I don't, think a perk test for somebody else's lot that they're gonna build in this farmland is the same thing. I don't think you can expect the results to be the same. But that to me, and the drainage, the drainage has been an issue on both sides of Kitchen Road for years and years and years. And although I am probably a mile or so down the road, we have a drainage ditch out in front of our property. And as I said, we have had our whole frontage of our property in water, and we have this huge ditch. It's not just a little ditch, it's huge. The county came through and put 2 concrete drainage things in it because the one couldn't, I don't know why they thought the 2 was gonna make it better, because it's not. But literally, there has been water with a current across our fields in the front, and it drains from up there down to us. It does affect me. And, it's literally had a current. We couldn't have driven our car up our driveway if we wanted to. And so drainage is an issue. And I don't know what they think building these, number one, because they're not local people, they don't know. They don't know what they bought. They just saw an opportunity to buy a huge piece of farmland with a potential to sell it to somebody else. But I'm just telling you, that is my take on it. I think it's got some real issues with the soil. I would prefer that it stayed a farm. You know, I'm gonna be up here, I don't know how many times, because we are just like a target right now in our area to buy the farmland and make it into subdivisions. And I moved out there 25 years for peace and quiet and just to live in a rural atmosphere. I lived out on Linville Road. I lived down on Blue Bluff Road before, and I have lived there 25 years. And it upsets me that this is where we're coming to, because there's some comprehensive plan that somebody took a paintbrush and said, oh, this would be ideal to make a subdivision here. When they, you know, they're just looking at a space. They don't know what that space is. And so I am asking you to vote against this. I just don't see that it's a good investment for anybody to buy into with the existing problems and the drainage being the main issue. But that's just my take. So thank you for
Thank you.
hearing me out.
Hang on for a second. Hang on.
Oh,
Any
sorry.
any questions?
Can you come up here and show me one thing, if you would, little Lillian? And I forget your first name, I am so sorry. Do you know exactly where the Rocky Pipeline went across that right there?
It is, let's see, okay, this is,
This is
all
the
right, this
property
is-
we're on right now,
Okay.
that one.
it goes across here, and then it crosses here, and this is where it comes up over here.
Okay.
And I was trying to think how many feet down that was. It seems like it was only like 6 foot.
I was thinking,
It's not.
yeah, it was 5 or 6 feet, I forget how
So-
deep it was, and I'm thinking it had 100 foot, 50 foot each side of the center line of that gas line, didn't it, Terry? On the setback on that Rocky?
It might be 75 on that gas line, I'm not sure.
I was saying it was 100 total,
It
but
may
I'm
be
not for
100.
sure.
75 feet from that pipeline? Because I wouldn't. But that's
Thank
just-
you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's all the opposition. We have 2 people signed up as interested. John Walker, would you like to speak? Yes. Okay.
Good evening, John Walker, address 249 East Woodfield Lane, Mooresville. We are the adjoining property owner now to this property. We have 20 acres on the corner of Watson and Kitchen. We'll join this. My wife and I are not opposed to the plan as been laid out. I like the idea that they're keeping a large parcel back behind these. Since we're trying to keep ours ag, and we plan on keeping it that way, I think that'll help the community with a larger parcel back there. Some nice houses right up on the road. I think in 2-acre plots will look real good. I envision them being very nice homes that will be built. I am concerned, like the community is, with the amount of traffic that goes up and down that road, and those homes having come right out onto Kitchen, but there's only 5 additional ones. The property to the north, another 20 acres, that's going to have some traffic. Traffic's going to come. These lots are going to be developed. I'm the first one to hate to see farmland cut up, but we just live too close to Indianapolis. We live too close to Mooresville. The growth is growing. I remember, I grew up here back in the 60s. 144, it used to be a peaceful road. Now it's a interstate. So it's natural that Kitchen is just going to have traffic. And that's one of my concerns of moving where we're at, because we're nestled back in the country, is all the traffic on the roads. But it's just going to happen. We're not going to stop it. And Morgan County has already identified this area for a 20-year growth plan that it will go residential. Like I said, I hate seeing farmland get cut up, but we do plan on keeping it, like I said, as agricultural. I'll probably do some hay on it. I don't know if I'll ever have any animals. But this probably isn't the forum for it, but we do plan on putting a fence in, separating the two properties. I do know from experience of the farm I grew up on and this farm, people love, they see a big open field, they love to think they can just intrude and go on it, ride their four-wheelers, three-wheelers on it. Next thing, you just get a bunch of traffic. So when I build the fence, I'll be looking for the adjoining property owner to join in that cost of building that fence. So utilities out there, I'm not sure what's been represented tonight is all correct. I think there are maybe some utilities that do exist. You guys probably know that. And the gas pipeline, it runs right through the middle of our property from east to west. I'm willing, I know I think it's 25-foot easement from the center of a total of 50 feet. We're probably going to build within 100 feet of it. I'm not scared of it. And the pipeline controls it. You can't even come close to digging on it or doing it without a pipeline person there overseeing what you're going to do to it. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the clay. Indiana's built on clay. I mean, this county's tons of clay. And if it doesn't perk right, they can build a mound. There's ways to work around septic systems. So I'm not concerned about that. In fact, our property, if we do it right, could even help the downline people because there's a nice place there I'd like to build a lake or a pond on that would come up to the gas line. It can intrude on the gas line, but it can come up to it. Actually, I'd like to look at the county to help me do that to help control the flooding. But the other, and when you build homes up, in these cornfields, when they grow, there's nothing to hold the water when it rains. It's going to run down between those aisles, and it's going to fly down through there like it's been doing, creating all this flooding. You start building homes up there, you build pastures, all that's going to slow down. The lawns, everything's going to retain that water more, and it should help the flooding from going downstream. That's my take on it.
Can I just ask you a question? Your property, where it says subject property, you're right here at Kitchen and Watson, south of the subject property?
I'm south of that property, corner of Kitchen and Watson.
Yeah, and that's 20 acres?
20 acres. Yep. And that 20 acres on that side is the main start of the stream that goes to the south. And by building a pond right there on Watson, it would help slow that down also.
Any questions, Mr. Walker? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rod Carsey, would you like to speak?
Good evening. I'm Rod Carsey, 9182 North Watson Meadows Lane. I'm the president of the HOA there for Watson Meadows. Our concern there is, or question is on Lot 6, we hope that they retain the water on their property so it doesn't drain over onto our area. We hope the other 5 lots do have nicer homes so it kind of matches what we have in the area, because that's just going to help us. We know for a fact with Interstate 69 coming, this is inevitable. We're not going to stop it. People are going to build. As long as they build nice homes out in our area, you know, we'll prove that we're happy with that. You know, keep the tract homes on the other side of Mooresville even better. Again, like I say, the big thing is the drainage. We hope that they try to maintain all the drainage, you know, on their own property. Us there in Watson Meadows, we have water and we have gas, so they should too be able to get that, you know. We didn't have any issues with our septic tank, so that's all I wanted to say.
You have city water over in Watson?
What's that?
You have city water over in Watson?
Yeah, we have city water.
I couldn't remember if you did or not. I thought
Yeah.
you did.
City water and natural gas. Okay, thank you.
But you're on septics, right?
We're on septic.
Yeah.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. That's the last one we have listed. Which, come to the mic real quick.
That water out there is on a 6-inch main. The fire department can't even fill a tanker truck with a fire hydrant that they have on their lot.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Fincham, would you like a rebuttal? Come ahead, come to the mic, please.
I really don't see an issue with drainage or sanitation. I feel that we're going to be very strict on what is built there, and we're going to have certain covenants that are going to be appropriate to make sure that everybody is on the same level with respect to building the homes. They're not going to be cheap homes. They're going to be expensive homes. So that's our goal. And so we really don't see an issue with any of this, to be honest with you.
Do you have your covenants written already?
I'm sorry?
Are the covenants written already, or
I do not.
any questions?
What size square footage are you shooting for?
3,000 and up.
Price point at,
Pardon?
and the price point at, price range?
I'm sorry.
I said the price range of your homes you're shooting for?
It'd probably be 400 and up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Fincham.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ms. Parker, would you like to add anything? No? This closes our public portion of the hearing. This is open for discussion. If you look at your tech report, the health department had no objections to it for the septics. The surveyor's report, it states right on there that they'd have to do a drainage and erosion plan prior to any construction. We looked at that and we realized that there's gonna be some drainage issues. So they'd have to give us a full plan before they do any construction. And that will be placed on the plat if approved. You drive down that road every once in a while, so does Melanie, and they do fly down that road. I mean, they do. They really do. You know, the one gentleman asked to put stripes in the middle, and one of the highway engineers I talked to said you put stripes in the middle, but they think they can even go faster when you put the stripes in. Unfortunately.
They had a development out in Jackson Township where I live, and they petitioned the county commissioners, and they put it to a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, so it was not too difficult for them.
How much?
So 35.
35?
What they requested and what the county commissioners did for them. You know, there's a subdivision right behind this, I mean, of the whole total property. Agree with them. It's gonna develop somewhere. And that's the end it's gonna develop on.
You know, it's obvious that the Mooresville area is the growth area in the county. It's very obvious of that, because 69 is right there, 70 is right there, 67 is right there. County-wise, that's where the growth's gonna go. It's, you know, and it's gonna keep coming and keep coming, and we gotta make sure that, you know, it's done properly. So,
The most amazing thing is, I live right on the Brown County line, and 75 impacted my property quite a bit when we had blew my mind what, living that far away from it, it still affected it quite a bit. property behind me just sold. I'll probably have somebody wanting to mess my livestock right behind me.
Bill, you need to speak up in the mic a little bit, they can't hear you.
I was gonna say, the property behind me just sold. I'm right next to the Brown County line, real close. And I don't doubt that my animals will be affected by city people wanting to mess with them, but it certainly made an impact on what my property was worth. I could not believe it. That's all I have to say.
Kenny, is there any chance we can do some type of traffic study for that speed?
Somebody requested to the commissioners, we would absolutely have to do the study before
I
you
didn't
can
know how,
change it anymore.
I didn't know how you did it, how that was
Yeah.
handled through the commissioners.
State statute, it's gotta be studied anymore. Gotta have a traffic study before you can raise it or lower it.
Yeah, any type of work on it.
But it's triggered just by
A
a
request
request from
in writing.
local citizens.
Anybody can request it. Pardon me?
We were just asking Commissioner Hale what the procedure would be to have a traffic study done for that area to see if the speed limit could be lowered on Kitchen Road.
By state statute, you could just petition the commissioners, the individual property owner, and you could actually just go ahead and the commissioners could go ahead and raise or lower a speed limit on a vote. As long as they had the majority of 2 commissioners voting, they could do that. State law has changed now to where now you've got to actually have a traffic study to be able to raise or lower a speed limit. So we've done that twice since it's come to our attention, so. Oh, no, other roads that people would petition. So, yeah, we would need anybody that wants to petition, just put it in writing, submit it to the Commissioner's office, 180 South Main Street, Suite 102.
Commission request the study, Kenny, or would it have to be citizen?
Mr. P might be able to answer that one. I really don't want, I'm secondhand, because I know from the engineer, and he just said individual. I'm not saying
The
that they
question
couldn't.
was, instead of the property owners, can this board petition
I
the
would
commissioners
think
to
so,
study that? This board, yeah. Can we ask the commissioners? Okay. So we didn't fall under that statute then, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other discussion? If not, I will call for a motion.
I'll get it started, and it can be voted down or any way you want. I would move to approve to send to the Commissioners MIP 22-07.
Oh, Bill, it does
Don't
not
go
go
to
in front of the
commissioners.
commissioners.
Just a
Go to the
minor
commissioners.
plan.
Minor plat.
It's
we
a
approve.
plat.
The minor plat be approved. That's it.
Mr. Rumble makes the motion to approve the minor plat. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? I have one caveat I want put on there is under my check report that they have to, each lot has to do a drainage and erosion plan and be placed on the plat, which is not on that plat at this time. So that is part of, I need you to add that to your motion, Bill, to put that
I
on
would
the
be
plat.
happy to add that to my motion, that each lot have a drainage plan
Drainage
submitted
and
to the
erosion
county
plan
surveyor.
with it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Fincham, that statement has to be put on that plat before we'll sign it for the drainage and erosion, okay? It won't be signed until you submit that.
Is that interesting?
We'll move on to item C, hearing for a minor plat. Jordan Scott is requesting a two-lot minor. 20 acres located on North Kitchen Road again, approximately 1 mile north of Watson Road intersection. The property is located in Madison Township and is zoned ag. Mr. Scott?
Hi, my name's Jordan Scott, address 429 North Canterbury Lane. Skipped the north on that, just Canterbury Lane. We're proposing to turn 20 acres into two 10-acre lots, and build a residential home on both lots. We have had a perk test, passed the perk test, and that came with an erosion plan.
You're right at the jog in the road, correct?
Yep.
You're starting to go south.
Yep, far north lot.
You also butt up against Watson Meadows to the back.
Yep.
You say you're looking at two lots?
Yep, two 10-acre lots.
So, I can't find my map. Maybe I didn't get one. No, I think I got one. Yep, I was wondering.
You didn't get that one?
I don't think I got one. It's okay. Oh, tore it off. There you go. Already had it out. That's all right. I just wondered where the driveways were going on those, because you are right on the turn.
Yep.
He starts to turn, goes south.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. And so the driveways would both come off of Kitchen Road?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's long and narrow roads, long and narrow lots.
Both 9.801. Pipelines in the back. It is 50 foot each side of that power, that gas line, that one shows it.
See that?
I can't believe it doesn't show it. Maybe he needs to catch that.
There's a 100-foot wide center line easement for the Rocky, I thought it was.
So that needs to be shown on that other plat before I sign it also.
Yeah,
On that,
it wasn't on that other plan.
the question, you got any questions for Mr. Scott? Hang on for a second. Any other questions?
Does his easement need to be marked on this one too? Does that need to be shown on the plat? Got it upside down.
Emma Woodall, would you like to speak? Thank you. Okay. Tim Woodall, would you like to speak?
Tim Woodall, 1550 Bentonite Lane, Greenwood, Indiana. We bought this 20 acres with the intention, that's my daughter and my son-in-law, and we're wanting to build two beautiful homes on it, take care of the land.
and do what we need to do. You know, the permits, you guys dictate the permits. So that's what we will do. I plan on building a 3,200 square foot home. I'm not sure what theirs is, but we will take care of the land. Okay?
I got one question. Is any of the land in the back gonna stay agricultural? Is it all being developed and
It's
just see?
agriculture.
It will stay
Yes, yes.
agricultural?
And then the gas line runs on the back side of our
West side,
property.
yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I have none.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Wade Smith, would you like to speak?
My name is Wade, wow, really loud, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
My name is Wade Smith, and my husband and I owning property in question to the north at 9458 North Kitchen Road. The proposed change is in keeping with the larger lots in the area. It limits traffic to Kitchen Road and should easily have sufficient space for the septic, and I believe they've passed the perk test as well, so that shouldn't be an issue. I think based on the last conversation of the other plat that we were talking about, I think realistically speaking, this lot will never be industrially farmed again at 20 acres. And that decision was made before anybody in this room when we did the minor plat. So given the choices before us, this is by far the best option we have. Thank you.
Hang on for a second. You got any questions? Nope. All right, thank you. Parker?
The only thing to add is that they do meet the requirements of the, from the UDO for a minor plat, and this is in keeping with those requirements. And they do not have to rezone it because obviously it's well over 2 acres per lot.
Any questions? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Terry, Mr. Moore, would you like to speak again? Tony Gregory? Would you like to speak? Mr. Mendenhall? Mr. Walker, would you like to speak again? No, thank you. No, thank you. Carsey, Mr. Carsey, would you like to speak again? No, I expressed my concerns to my neighbor. Oh, okay, okay. You signed up, I wanted to give you a chance to speak, so. Mr. Scott, will you have anything else you'd like to speak on? No? Okay. I just closes the public portion of the hearing. I will add, once again, it needs to have the statement that a drainage and erosion control plan has to be approved through my office before any construction placed on the plat. And that was my comment on the tech report. And on the tech report, you can see that the health department had no issues with the minor plat. Any discussion? If not, I will call for a motion.
I recommend that we approve a minor plat petition MIP 22-08 for approval.
Jason Maxwell seconds.
Motion by Melanie and Jay is the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Mr. Scott, you'll need to add the statement. You must have a drainage and erosion control plan. Each lot will have to have that onto your plat. Holloway will know what to put on there, your surveyor. I just didn't see it on there. He normally puts it on there.
need to go back and make the same note on the previous plat approval? Because we don't think we designated that?
No, I did.
When you approved it?
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah.
Okay.
I had Bill change his
Not on
motion.
the pipeline, no. We need to have them on the pipeline, no.
Yeah.
We just,
Sorry,
Make
it was the
administrative.
pipeline. Thanks, Kenny.
Yes.
who was that? That was
Mr. Fincham.
Mr. Fincham? On your plat, Mr. Droplik will have to add that pipeline as it goes across your property onto your plat. On your
Pipeline?
On your plat,
Yes,
he'll have to add that pipeline. He didn't have that easement.
yes.
Yeah, he needs to
put
add that
that
to
on
your
there.
plat.
Okay.
He needs to add that drawing onto your plat.
Yes, the surveyor
The surveyor.
will
needs-
have, definitely have that on there already. I've already discussed that with him.
Because it's not on this one, it's submitted to us.
I understand.
And you gotta have that statement and that on there
Yes.
before we'll sign
Okay.
it.
No problem.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
that's not really a motion thing, that's just a Rule
Administrative
12 thing
gal.
through the state.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott, if you need that statement, we can get you that statement, but Mr. Holloway should have that, your surveyor, okay? The rezone first. Okay, we're to item D, which is really the public hearing for a rezone for petition Z 2206. That's our change in our agenda. Gina Craven Reeves, would you like to come to the mic, please? Please state your name and address for us, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Jana Cragen Reese.
Ma'am,
I-
hey, pull that mic down to you a little bit.
Down?
Yeah, there you go.
Better?
Yes, better.
Okay, hi, Jana Cragen Reese. I live at 4440 Cragen Road. Throughout my lifetime, 4440 is now my fifth address on Cragen Road. Sorry. 20 years ago, when my husband and I were ready to build our home, my father was able to give us the land.
Sorry about that, ma'am.
That's all right, that's all right. I'm here tonight in an effort to be able to do that for my three kids. They are young adults, they are in college, but that's what this land is all about, at 5010 Cragen Road. It's just a half a mile up the road from my home now. It starts out as a 6-acre plot with a little farmhouse. And so we've divided it up, it's surveyed up, and the lines are drawn so that there's 1 acre around the existing little farmhouse that we've spent most of this year renovating and upgrading, and it's a great little house now. The remaining 3 lots are drawn so that they are as balanced and equal as they can be for future home sites for my 3 kids. Please understand, this is quite a ways off in the future. There is no housing development here. This is an effort for me to provide a place for them when their time comes to build a home. They're in college right now. They're not anywhere near it. It's going to be 10, 15 years before they're even able to afford something like that. So that's my explanation of where we're at.
Questions?
If,
No?
I'm,
Anything you'd like to add?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If we could look at lot number 1, it is the lot that contains the home that has been renovated. It is primary to me to be able to sell that home. As I've stated, my two sons are in college at IU. I've got a graduate from IU. I'm doing this by myself, and I'm giving it all that I have. It is really important to me to be able to sell that asset so that I can pay college tuition it's just the bare bones of it. So if there's a way to isolate lot number one out of, if that needs to be done, then that's my primary concern, because the remaining three lots will stay dormant for a good number of years.
The lot one will have to be included because it's the original tract of land, so that'll be included. It has to be considered one of the lots.
I understand.
So, yeah, so we can't take that one out.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
She can sell it. Oh, no, she can sell it. It's just gonna be part of the lots. Yeah. No, I didn't mean it that. I meant it has to be included in the plan.
Can't sell it.
You can sell it.
To say, there,
What I'm saying is it has to be part of the subdivision, your minor plat. Maybe I misunderstood what she was saying.
I think her question was, you said you wanted to carve this out somehow so you could sell this lot number one, correct? But if this minor plats, you can sell lot number one,
Yeah.
even though it's part of the minor plat. That doesn't really have anything to do with the minor plat.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you're
Yeah,
clear.
I didn't mean you couldn't sell it. What I meant is the house was part of the original tract
Yes.
inscribed land, so it
Yes.
had to be included in the minor plat as one lot.
Okay.
Okay?
Sorry, I'm not very savvy, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Aaron Peters?
Hi, I'm Erin Peters. I live at 6137 New Harmony Road. And I am Jana's sister, and we all sort of live on top of each other, as we do out there in Green Township. I'm just here to support her request. I graduated from high school at Martinsville in 1990 and thought I wanted as far away from the cornfields as I could possibly be. So I went to California and Philadelphia and Denver, and then I went, oh, it's time to raise a family. And there's no place that I wanted to be other than here. So that's, it just warms my heart that we were able to do that for our kids too, and she has awesome kids, and so I'm just here to support her request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenny Cragen, would you like to speak? No, I think you good? Okay. Ms. Parker, would you like to speak on this?
So just for my clarification, were we hearing the minor plat or the rezone?
We're rezoning right now.
Okay. That's what I thought, but there seemed to be more discussion about the minor plat.
Yes.
Sorry,
Involved into the, I agree.
Yeah.
kind of moved
okay.
it up because we were clarifying something for
Right,
her.
right, okay. So, the reason for the rezone request is because some of those lots are less than 2 acres. So if they were all 2 acres or above, I'm sure they would have probably left it agricultural. So the fact that they've got that one house there that already exists and it's sort of a odd shape, couldn't quite get the 2 acres out of it and still retain the balance that they wanted for the other lots. That's why they went for the R1 zoning, which is appropriate and, in fact, under our old ordinance was required when you minor platted. So it's not out of the ordinary. And staff recommends support of the request.
We're looking at R1 instead of rural residential then?
Yes,
That's what it fits under?
yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to opposition, but I want, right now, we're looking at rezone. We're not looking at a plat. There's two different items. The plat will be heard after the rezone. So if you'd like to talk on the rezone, you're more than welcome to talk on the rezone. It's going from ag to R1, and R1 has to be an acre or larger, correct? So it has to be larger lots. So that's what the rezone's for. So if you'd like to speak on the rezone, you're welcome to. Jerry Ennis?
I don't know that I understand exactly the difference between the rezone and the minor plots, but.
Yeah, what it is, it's zoned agricultural right now.
Right.
Is zoning of it, and they're asking to be rezoned R1. And just, it's the highest residential zoning we have. So it has to have an acre of land, you have to have several things for it. So
Okay,
and that's what we're talking about now, is just the rezone.
the rezone.
Yeah. So,
Well, I guess where I'll start at is, our lawyer should have sent you guys a memo.
yeah, we've got that letter, which we'll discuss later.
Okay, that'd be under the minor lot discussion, not the rezone.
That'll be in our internal discussion. We all have that letter.
So,
Oh, pardon me?
To clarify on the zoning, we don't approve the zoning here anyways. We just forward recommendations to the Board of Commissioners.
Right.
They have the final say in the zoning.
right, well, I guess my thing is how can you rezone something that there's a dispute in the property lines showing that, there may be 78 feet.
You're rezoning the property that you have to adjudicate in the court. Only a lawyer, only a judge can set a property line.
Right, yeah, I understand that.
Once that's settled, whatever they have left is what we're going to basically handle, either way.
Okay, so then you'd be rezoning smaller than 1 acre lots.
No, the rezone is the total piece. It's not the 1 acre lot split off, it's the total area of the one piece. So whatever's on their deed is what we would rezone.
So you're talking about rezoning that into 4 lots.
No,
You're just rezoning it
we're
from
just rezoning it from
agriculture.
ag to residential, is all the
Residential.
rezone would be. And just because you rezone doesn't mean you ever have to subdivide it. It's just a rezone is all it is.
Well, I guess then the only thing we got to say on that is the drainage problems we already have. And the amount of septic systems that's gonna go in a small area is our biggest complaints, I guess. I guess that's all I got on that.
Okay, any questions? None? All right, thank you. Phyllis Ennis, would you like to speak? No. Randy Williams, would you like to speak? No. Marilyn? No. Ms. Sloan? No. Ms. Drake? No. Nelda Clayton, is that right? No, you don't want to speak? Okay. We don't have anybody signed up for interest as party? I just want to clarify, the rezone is just a rezone for the property. It's not for each lot. Like I said, it's just a rezone from ag to residential. And just because it's rezoned to residential doesn't mean it'll ever be subdivided. It doesn't mean it'll ever be approved to be subdivided. But if they come for the rezone, we feel like that's the best use for that property, and then we rezone it that. So that's how that works. So,
I think it'd be important to clarify, what we would be reviewing tonight is what the current tax ID parcel number is.
Yeah.
If there's a dispute of what that is, which I think is what the attorney has pointed out, that parcel number may get modified future date. That's not us. We don't know. So we're acting on what we think is currently shown in the county's records based on that tax ID. So.
We're going to discuss your letter from your attorney here soon in the meeting, so we all had a chance to read that, so, yeah. This closes the public portion of the hearing. Let's discuss that letter. Mr. Pena, what's your opinion on the letter?
Well, it points out that there's a lawsuit that's been filed, I believe in July. Lawsuit may go on for another year or two, we don't know how long it'll take. But the outcome of that suit is speculative. What we know now is they have a deed, a parcel number. That's what they're asking to rezone. If the court issues an opinion in favor of the opposition somewhere down the road, then they have to amend the description that's being rezoned at that time. We don't know if that'll happen. The petitioner may win the case, and there be no change to the boundary lines at all. So, you go ahead and deal with what you have before you now.
I guess my question is it, do we rezone the deed, we rezone the deed as we presented now, correct? And they would have to come back and rezone it, or we just automatically, say the petitioner wins and they get 20 feet, that wouldn't be zoned R, it'd still be zoned ag, correct? So if it whatever the court decides, is that's the property line. Well, yeah, of the property itself. Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
We're basically gonna rezone the property that as it will be at the end of the court case.
Well, as it is right now.
It is now.
As the legal description is right now.
We can't decide, the judge can decide that. Yep.
So what would happen is if, let's say the plaintiff wins and they get more property, we would have to adjust our zoning to take their parcel out of that R per the new deed.
Would not be subject
I don't know, Mark, can you put that in a stipulation?
Our decision be subject to the property as it ends up after the suit?
Well, I think by law, decisions tonight would be subject to change in the future if the court rules in favor of the opposition.
So if a motion was made to subject it that way that you mentioned, we could do it right now, not a problem.
Says that you do that?
You don't have to put that condition in your motion because it's governed by the law anyway.
The law states if it gets adjusted, then it automatically gets.
Turns out they don't own the 6.03 acres anymore, a part of it. The zoning would have to change. They have to come back to the board, and ask for change in the zoning.
Or if they submit in the new legal description, a corrected one, reflecting whatever change the court.
Well, that's my question. If they get the new legal description, that's just what's rezoned, and then we put the old one back to what it should be rezoned.
Wouldn't,
Yeah. I was thinking, do they have to come back and petition us? But I don't see why they'd have to re-petition us. They just automatically, once that court gives that ruling on that rezone, that's what's been rezoned. Well, it's not the rezone, the property line, excuse me, the property line.
court would adjust the
Here, I'm
property
getting everything
lines,
goofed up.
and
The
therefore
court's
it would
gonna
stay
adjust
with
that and have the survey done, so. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
So from that perspective, the zoning isn't influenced as much.
No, the zoning's not influenced,
So
not
it's-
like the plat would be to me. The zoning, we're zoning what they own, and if the court says you don't own that, then that's not rezoned anymore. We just have to adjust our maps here back to what it should be. So, like Mark said, we won't know the court ruling until, who knows, as slow as the courts are right now, so. All right, if No other discussion, I'll call for a motion. You got to remember, this has to be a favorable or not favorable, or no motion at all. They'll- Again, this will go to the commissioners.
If I made a motion to approve this to the commissioners based on the size of the lot right now, but it could be changed one way or the other without changing the motion?
All you're doing is gonna be making a favorable recommendation to the commissioners on the rezone. Nothing to do with law. We're not doing plating.
We're not doing the plat right now, Bill. We're just doing a rezone.
Either a favorable, non-favorable, no recommendation at all is your
Yeah.
three options.
Yeah, so, yeah, and if it's approved to rezone, once that ruling's set in, then the county will automatically adjust that rezone to where it should hit.
I'll make a motion to approve,
No, make a motion to
Recommend approval.
recommend approval.
recommend
Recommendation.
Z-22-06.
Mr. Rumbaugh makes a motion to recommend the rezone from agriculture to R1. Mr. Patrick seconds that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries for the rezone only, 8-0. Now we'll move on to the minor plat. Mrs. Reese? Again for us, please. Now we're going to talk about the minor plating.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I apologize, but a lot of it now is just going to be repetitive. I am Janet Cragen. I live at 4440 Cragen Road. And my intention here is once again to have this property divided as equally as could be divided. I wish I had more, but I have this. We allocated enough for the house with the intention of remodeling and selling. And so then we split up whatever was left. And because I have more than one child, I have three. I tried to make it as equally balanced as it could be. And that ended up at around 1.7 acres each. I'd like to say again that this property will remain as it is for a good length of time. But what is most urgent to me is the ability to have it approved so that I might sell that farmhouse that we've remodeled. I understand the disputed track, and it is in the process. I've never been in any kind of land dispute, but I appreciate that there's a process, and we are in that, and it will find resolution, and we will abide by it. Whatever adjustments need to be made at that time, I'm perfectly willing to abide by that ruling. But for my near future, I'm focused on the ability to sell that farmhouse.
Any questions? questions? Okay.
Where is the septic for the house that is there now?
Okay. It is just to the south of the home. The property line allows for that septic system. That's why that is jotted out there. And it seems to be working fine.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenny Cragen, would you like to speak again?
My name's Kenny Cray, and I live at 6135 New Harmony Road, Martinsville. I'm about half a mile from the land in question that you've been discussing here. And I just wanted to explain to you that it's a custom in our neighborhood to try to provide an opportunity for kids and grandkids to live in the same area if they can. And there are 2 or 3 big families in our neighborhood, and they all do the same thing. And so I just appreciate this, if she could have this opportunity. She does need to sell the existing house to be able to afford tuition for school and those kind of things that she's in the middle of. And so I appreciate that if you could support this.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Aaron Peters, would you like to speak again? No? Okay, thank you. Ms. Parker, you are up.
So since there's an assumption that the R1 zoning will be forwarded to the commissioners and potentially approved, that would is really the only way you can approve this minor plat is with that rezoning, because the lots are less than the 2 acres. So that zoning does have to come through and be approved by the commissioners in order for the plat to be officially adopted. So we'll be waiting on that. If you approve the minor plat, we'll have to hold it on that until that zoning has been adopted, if it is. But regardless, they do meet all the other requirements, presuming that the R1 is approved, and staff recommends approval of that minor plat.
So if this minor plat is not approved, but she still wants to sell off Lot 1, what would the process be for her to do that?
She'd have to split that lot as its own individual lot.
So she'd have to come in to request that separately.
Unless
Can they do
there's,
that internally?
unless there's a way to, if it qualifies for an exemption, it may be able to be split off using an exemption. Otherwise, it would be platted and they'd have to come back.
What is that exemption now? Does it change?
I mean,
from
there's
before?
10 different exemptions that are possible.
Okay.
One of them is, if they haven't had any splits as of the adoption of the new UDO, that's one of them. If there's a requirement for taking of right-of-way or something like that from the state, that's another one. There's a variety of reasons for exemptions that you wouldn't normally have to see because they're sort of administrative.
So there are other options to the one to the house,
For the house to be split off, yes.
just the house alone.
So theoretically, they could split off Lot 1, and then in the future, minor plat, what would be remaining?
Yes,
She could do that.
that's an option.
That's an option. Okay. Any other questions? No? All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to opposition. Mr. Ennis, would you like to come back up?
Jerry Ennis,
5425 New Harmony Road. I understand families, big families want to give their kids property. My family's done it throughout this and that. It's just breaking it up in this small groups, and we're selling one house, and we've built some other houses up the road, and they no longer own, Craigens own them. This lot, when it was 12 or 15 acres, got split into 3, and now one of them lots is not owned by a Craigen. So it seems like we get into this pattern where we build houses for our kids, and then we sell them to somebody else.
Any questions?
About all I got, other than
Is that all you got?
we still worry about the runoff and the septics.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Cragen? No? All right, thank you. Who's there still? Bill? No? Mr. Randy, would you like to speak? No? Marilyn? No? Sheila Sloan, would you like to speak?
My name is Sheila Sloan, and I live at 5690 New Harmony Road. So I'm at the bottom of the, there's like a hill. The property that they're talking about is up on a hill. I'm at the bottom of that hill. I've already had trouble for, I don't know, probably the past 20 years of drainage, runoff, my yard flooding, my pool flooding, everything. The property that is directly behind me used to just be an empty field. I think Kenny Cragen bought it and then sold it, and there were 2 pole barns built. Well, once they started moving that dirt around, I started having floods in my yard. I mean, it was bad. I mean, all the mud and all that stuff went in my pool, had to redo everything, and that came out of my pocket. Nobody was gonna help me with that. I even, at one point, the property that is bought right behind me has sold probably 3 times. I even tried to get that guy behind me to help me put in a swale or something to keep that water out of my yard, and nothing. So my fear is, I know she says she's not gonna do anything for several years, but I'm afraid that'll make that worse, because it's all uphill. And once they take those trees out and start moving dirt, I'm just worried what I'll get into.
You live just south of where they tried to get that
Yeah,
commercial side in,
yes.
correct?
Yep, right behind it, or really right in front of it.
You're in the road, to the south of it, correct?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my concern.
I just wanted to make sure I knew exactly where you were sitting. And I do know you've had some issues.
Yeah,
Especially from that piece of property.
I was here when he was trying to rezone that into business.
I do know you had issues with his piece
Yeah.
of property. I do know that.
So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. You guys have any questions for her? Sorry. No, you're good. We're down to it. Ms. Clayton, would you like to speak? You didn't want to speak? Okay. Lois Drake? No? That's all we have to speak. Mrs. Reeves, would you like to have a rebuttal of any type?
I guess my only point maybe to restate is my intention for the remaining ground beyond the 1 acre of the house. It is absolutely for my young 20-year-old kids, 10, 15, even 20 years from now, when they're able to build their last home there and put start their kids in school. It is from me to them, and it will not be used in any other way.
Thank you. Well, this closes the public portion of the hearing. Move on to discussion. Any discussion?
So, I'm trying to get this right. So if this goes on into the courts and they take part of this, then what we approve really isn't right because it's not the same acreage we would approve tonight, correct?
the lines would change.
So would that have to come back?
Well, the seller of the property, wouldn't be able to pass good title to the buyer if you had to do
But can they change title?
come back and redo the minor plat or create a lot that could be marketed.
Yeah. Can they change title before the judge makes his ruling?
Change title? Well,
And that,
wouldn't care.
pardon me?
The buyer would have to take a risk and adverse court decision.
Get less property than what they think they're buying.
Ms. Reeves, did you want to say something?
I'm sorry, just in case there's any, maybe need for clarification. The disputed land is the tract on the westernmost of the overall property. So only lots 2 and 3 would need adjustment. Lot 4 and Lot 1, which I would be selling as soon as I'm able, are not affected, would presumably not be affected by any ruling. As it is only this area that there is a dispute, the westernmost line.
Okay.
A letter from Attorney Lorenz says parcel described as encroaching upon the farm strip on the east side of the subject tract.
Says two sides on the subject tract? Is this an adverse possession type thing, Mark? Okay. That's kind of what it sounds like to me, too. It notes in there that the errors in the recorded survey. Now, I have not seen that recorded survey for a recorded survey. So they're questioning the surveyor, or are they questioning? It's on the west side of the. Yeah. It says 2 spaces. Is it to the north, the other side, piece of it? Does it say 2 or 1? Does it say 2 or 1? Huh? You say 2 sides? 1 side? Just 1 side, okay. Just the west side dispute then. Okay.
And this is, I mean, in my opinion, it's a difficult situation. I mean, the lot sizes are fairly small for septics and other things, although I know there's options there. And with, the courts being involved, I don't know if there's any risk on us for that, but, I mean, given the fact that there's still options to fulfill the ability to section off Lot 1 and sell that and delay a potential minor plat of 2, 3, and 4 later, I would be more, my personal opinion is to hold off on approval till that gets settled, and I think would still allow Ms. Reese to get her Lot 1 parceled and sold. Just my opinion, so.
Calling for motion?
Yeah, we're still discussing.
If we would delay this to allow them to come back, charging them $400 again?
Yeah, you have to go through the procedure.
Waive the fee, I don't know.
You can always waive the fee if you feel like, yeah, I think that's an option, correct, Laura? That is an option. I put my surveyor hat on. Anytime there's a dispute, that bothers me. And that dispute needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to be settled before we approve a plat. I don't like approving a plat. Now, this is just me. I don't like approving a plat knowing that there's a property line dispute that is not settled yet. To me, you're platting something that's not correct.
Yeah, potentially, and I agree. Aside from the fact that potentially is looking at paying the fee again, which I understand could be waived, because
that
we
could be
know
waived.
that
Yeah.
I think it might be in her best interest to go ahead and take action on Lot 1 as she sees fit.
Sell that. and then
Let the
come back.
dispute play out and then come back and plat at that point. Because I think in the long run, it might save you some other sorts of problems with, titles
Yeah, it could
and
save you
that sort of
down the
thing in
road.
real estate. Not that I'm a real estate agent, don't get me wrong.
Do what, Bill?
Could we just delay this until it's settled?
Yeah, but we don't know when, I don't think we can push it out that far, can we, Mark?
Well, you have to act on what you have before you now.
Yeah, we can't do that, but what we can do is waive the fee, at least when she comes back. You can put that in your motion. If that's the motion you want to make. No, I know, I'm just saying, that's too far out, not knowing if it's gonna be tomorrow or it's gonna be 5 years from now. We can't push it out that far. If we knew they were gonna have that done in a month, we can push it back a couple of months, but. Any other discussion? All right, I'll call for a motion. Do we have a motion?
Damned if we do and damned if we don't.
Part of our job.
It's a tough decision.
Part of our job.
I'll make a motion. I expressed my thought process, I think, clearly on that, as I think there's still options available with the pending lawsuit and the ability to proceed with some of the goals mentioned from the petitioner. So I would move that we reject the minor plat 22-04 as currently presented.
We have a motion to deny the petition for a minor plat. Do we have a second?
I second the motion. I think it's an appropriate action.
Okay, Melanie seconds the motion. You want?
And yeah, I would add that if, should this continue with a minor plat of this property in the future, that we waive.
We waive the fees, so that's added to the motion. Do you second that addition?
Yes.
Okay. The motion is to deny and waive the fee at further date when she comes back, once the court case is settled. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? 7-1. Motion carries, as denial. Contact Ms. Parker and she'll work you through what you need to do on on that lot, okay? And then once that's settled, you can come back and your fees are waived, okay? You leaving, Melanie?
Sorry, I'm taking
All right, bye. We might need your vote, don't we? And I will say that their surveyor did have my erosion control and drainage plan on his plat, so that was good. I didn't have to put that on there, so that was good. But item F, it's a public hearing on a minor plat. MIP 2205, Kenneth Cragen is requesting a 6-lot minor plat of 33.71 acres. Property is located at 6143 and 6135 New Harmony Road. The property is located in Green Township and is zoned ag. Please state your name again for me.
I'm Kenny Cragen, 6135 New Harmony Road, Martinsville, Indiana. I have 33 acres there in Green Township, and I would like to divide that into 6 lots, minor plat. Here's the arrangement that it would be if you're, this is again thinking of heirs and grandkids and all of those things. There's a house here on lot number 5. That's where I live. That's my house right there. It would be one of the 6. And in the middle there, lot number 3, there's a house where my son lives, and a house and a pole barn and a old dairy barn there. This was Mildred Dyer place. If you're from Green Township, you'd know where I'm talking about there. At most, I think this could be ended up with 2 additional houses. There would be no new houses back here, and because it would be in a minor plat, it couldn't be divided later, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. And the 2 with the houses now, there would be no additional houses built on those lots. Lot 1 here is 2 acres. Lot 2 is 2 acres, and those would be suitable for a home to be built there someday. This lot number 4, a neighbor is real interested in that, and what she wants to do is, it's in their front yard, and what she wants to do is just continue to mow that and take care of that, and there would be no house built there. So, excuse me. So that's our plans and hopes on it. It's everything around it is farm ground. One of the Ennis family live next right here, and an Ennis across the road too. So I'm just trying to point out the good neighbors and the good friends, and I just want to make that point.
Who, on lot 3, the 4.19 acres of the house?
Yes.
Is that your son's house? Is that what you said?
Yes, that's where he lives. It belongs to me.
Yeah, but that's where he lives right now?
That's where he lives, right.
Now, who's the neighbor you said that would like to have that lot to mow?
Mr. and Mrs. Reel, who are right behind here, and they've asked several times and tried to buy it, and
Yeah, I see they're in that cutout, so I'm just trying to get my bearings on the
I understand.
plat.
I understand. And there are no plans to get rich on this, no plans to divide anything else. There's city water goes through just across the road there. Most of us in that area are on the city water. There's no natural gas.
Is that Eastern Rural Water they're on? Do you know?
It comes Citizens is what the bill says.
Citizens, okay. It's all, the county's so split up with their water,
Yes.
you never know.
Yes.
A road maintenance agreement?
I didn't understand you, sir.
You have a road maintenance agreement, I see, where
Yes.
each lot shares the road maintenance?
Yes.
Okay. And you're not gonna have covenants? No type of covenants?
No.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Cragen? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. No, you're good? Ms. Reeves, would you like to speak? Okay. Reese, excuse me, Reese. Ms. Parker?
The only thing I'll add is that this does not require rezoning, again, because all the lots are 2 acres or larger. It does meet the requirements for a 6-lot minor plat, and staff recommends approval.
Questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to opposition. Marilyn Williams, would you like to speak? You don't want to? Okay. Marilyn's the only one that was signed up. And no interest parties, so this will close the public portion of the meeting. This floor is open for discussion. No discussion? I will call for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the minor plat request MIP 22-05.
Justin seconds. We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Staff reports. Mr. Eden, do you have anything to report? And I was hoping you would. Give us a break. Our next meeting is December 12th. I will call for a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Meeting's adjourned. These are people.